Alright, now, as we look through today's lesson, this is all about negative exponents. This is CLT number 15. I can solve problems with negative exponents. So, just like we looked at the couple days before, we had a couple of problems that we had solved, and we're going to write those down in a very particular way. So if I see 10 to the negative 1, and I write that down right here, 10 to the negative 1, well, if I plug that into my calculator using the exponent button, I get 0.1, and that's the same thing as 1 over 10 to the 1. 1 over 10 to the 1. Similarly, if I have 10 to the negative second power, that's right here, 10 to the negative second power, right over here, then that's going to equal 0.01, which equals 1 over 100, which equals 10 squared. And then continuing on that pattern, I see 10 to the negative 3 equals 0.001, which equals 1 over 1,000, which equals 1 over 10 to the third. Wow, well, let's take a look and see if I can see a pattern from all the way over to the left, over here, all the way over to the left over here, 10 to the negative 1. What's the relationship there with 1 over 10 to the 1? Think about that. How about this one? 10 to the negative 2 equals 1 over 10 squared. Think about that. What's that pattern there? And does that pattern work here? See, 10 to the negative 3. We know that equals 1 over 10 to the 3. So let's see if this pattern works for us with 10 to the negative 4. So go ahead and plug in 10 to the negative 4 with your calculator. And we see 0.0001. We hit our fraction button and we see that that's the same as 1 over 10,000. And we know with our powers of 10 that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, 1 over 10 to the 4th. 1 over 10 to the 4th power. Wow. Well, now let's take a look and see if we see a pattern. We have 10 to the negative 4, and that equals 1 over 10 to the 4th. So I see a negative exponent, positive exponent. Negative 2, positive 2. Negative 3, positive 3. Negative 4, positive 4. Similarly, I see a 10 not in a fraction, a 10 on the bottom of a fraction. 10 not in a fraction, 10 in the bottom of a fraction. 10 not in a fraction, 10 in the bottom. 10 not in a fraction, 10 on the bottom. So wow. So we see, wow, there's a lot of things going on here. But there is something different. I do see negative 1 here, positive 1 here. I see negative 2 here. I see positive 2 here. Negative 3, positive 3. Negative 4, positive 4. Okay, looks like there's 3 things happening here. Looks like there are 3 things going on. So let's write these rules down in order. And it starts with all about the base. All about the base, no trouble. So we're going to start with the base. And rule number 1, for negative exponents. For negative exponents. Rule number 1, flip the base. we're going to flip the base. Up here we had 10 not in a fraction. 10 was not in a fraction. Here, it's now in the bottom of a fraction. So we flip that base. The second rule is we're going to keep the exponent with the base. Here we have -4, and I know I'm drawing over the 4s a lot. Here we have +4. But we do something. So we're going to add the word but. When we go from negative to positive, we call that change the sign. So we have flipped the base, keep the exponent, but change the sign. Flip, keep, but change. Right? So if we think of it like that, flip, keep, but change. So how about let's look at something like 4 to the -3rd power. Let's follow our little plan here. We're going to flip the base. The base we know is 4, so we're going to flip that. That will become 1/4. We're going to keep the exponent. The exponent is -3, so we're going to keep that, but we're going to change the sign. -3 will become +3. So my final answer is 1/4 to the 3rd power. Let's do one more. Excuse me. So let's do one more. So let's say I have 7 to the -8. We're going to always flip the base. The base is 7. It becomes 1/7. We're going to keep the exponent but change the sign. -8 will become +8. So my final answer, 1/7 to the 8th. And that's it.